This, on the other hand, is a son of Doc's Hickory, and he's a young stallion. He also has had a lot of maturity issues, but he gives me windows as a young 3-year-old that show me that he will go to the cow horse pen and not take as long to mature as the other horse did. His father, Skip Ram, owned his father, and he had a pretty nasty reputation as far as handling. This horse, you can see, tends to kind of do that, but he had went to somebody else tried to start him, and they got in some trouble with him because he's so mentally hot. So I went ahead, and it took me about 45 days just to get a saddle on this horse. 45 days to undo what they did. What they did is they got a saddle caught around him as a 2-year-old. Well, they just took him out of that futurity scene. Of course, I think he'd have been in maturity show as a futurity horse anyways, but they kind of wrecked him, and they'd come out on his hands, on his hind legs, pawing the sky, and they'd have to have a stud chain. Now, he's a little high because he's been in the barn, he's ready to go out and play. But he'd leap over to that horse, per se, and act like a stud already at 2, and his owners, oh my God, we want to, I want to cut him, and I said, well, let me have him. I don't think so, because his mother won a ton of money in RCHA, and this horse, if any of them had the right, I said, we can always take him out, but we can't put him back. And he doesn't, even though he's being kind of a poop. He absolutely gives me windows that shows me that he will be all right, and that he's going to mature up as a 5-year-old better, and he'll just go in the unlimited classes. And of course, his breeding, we're talking the end of the line on some. There's lots of grandsons and great-grandsons of somebody, but the money that went into these horses, this woman, she's in her 70s, could never afford to buy what's out there right now, what she's already has bought. And so we had promised to, go ahead. Let me put him out, because you can watch him. He's walking on eggshells. He wants out. Lots going on. And of course, the playpens, I try to have all the stallions go out in the playpens every day, get socialized. I think a big problem that a lot of people make, and you mind you, they'll do it, because he's worth so much. Well, we've got a ton of them worth an awful lot, but they're only worth as much as they, in some aspects, can do, or what people are willing to pay for. And I don't run my stallions together. I don't want to sound like that, but I really think it's kind of criminal to allow a stallion to be so isolated from any other horse contact, except when he's breeding a mare. And everybody has this, not everybody, but a lot of people have, when I tell them they're standing in a row full of stallions, that, oh my God, they're stallions. Ooh, everybody get back, and hide your kids, hide women that are menstrual. It's just bizarre. And I go, no, that's absolutely, it's all in the handling. It's all in the socializing. It's all in everything that comes around that. If you go back to the wild horses, they kick out them 2-year-olds and they stag. They're not eating each other until they're trying to go see who's gonna, boss the old man for position. Other than that, they get along peachy fine. So I found through the years that within reason, I might take a horse like him, or when he was younger, and I'll put him with a gelding that isn't going to eat up a young horse. It isn't going to abuse a young horse. And what that gives that young horse, he was taught by his mother certain things, and we take him away, and he gets isolated. So therefore, he's got his own things going on, and this barn had a few of them, and they were very unmanageable. And I came in, and to change kind of, outside of some popular thinking as a rule, not all, because there's great stud handlers out there that will sympathize with what I'm saying. And I allow these horses to socialize a lot more, so therefore they're not tearing the barn down. They're not having, when spring comes on, it does get a little bit chaotic with the younger colts. With the mares are coming in, we're breeding mares, and we try to not allow them to see things, because it does stir the juices, if you would. But to go back to some interaction, to have horsey interaction, they're a herd animal. My stallions all house stall to stall to stall. I can put a stallion in a round pen next to geldings. Nobody's tearing each other up. When we're hauling them stallions, they're hauling next to other stallions, they're hauling next to other geldings, and we're not having these big wrecks. I can ride, go and show, without having people going, oh my God, that's a stallion, because he's dropped and he's acting belligerent. And of course it goes back to mentality. So with that, you can see that he's housed right now next to a gelding, but he's not leaping over the fence to get him. And this was one that absolutely would have fell into those lines. He has that sweet, little personality, if you would, to be a man-eater, so to speak. His father was very unique, and it reminds me so much of his dad, except I said I'm going to do it a little different with him and see if we can't temper some of that crankiness. It takes two men to get him out of a box stall and get him to the arena. That to me is just a little crazy, and I'm sure he came that way through the handling and through the high dollarness of them, that they don't want anything to happen to him. I can respect that. But if we're in it for the horse, these horses have got to be able to act like horse, think like horse, and be treated like horses. We shouldn't have to stop the whole show, pull out all the hardware to get the stud horse from point A to point B without a wreck.